very good evening. You're watching Eswatini TV News Bulletin at 8, read to you by myself, Notile Sitole. First up, here's a look at tonight's headlines. Government has extended the partial lockdown by a further 2 weeks. The 2020 junior certificate results indicate a decrease in performance when compared with the 2019 results. If you will not wear a surgical face mask, then don't dare to come to Parliament tomorrow. And now our bulletin in detail. The acting Prime Minister Themba Masuku says government has taken the decision to further extend the restrictions by another 2 weeks with effect from midnight. Masuku announced this at a press conference which was held at the Cabinet offices.
The acting Prime Minister Themba Masuku says Eswatini still need to be more vigilant to combat the spread of the virus by continuing to stick to the COVID-19 protocols, hence the decision to extend the restrictions. He says when government makes a decision, she uses science-based evidence and also she relies on the advice and projections of researchers and epidemiologists as well as inputs from other relevant and important stakeholders such as faith, economic and social sectors.
It is for this reason that His Majesty's government, exercising Regulation 52 of the Coronavirus COVID-19 Regulations 2020, has taken the decision to further extend the restrictions by another 2 weeks with effect from midnight today.
The acting Prime Minister says this excludes the opening of Parliament on Friday, which has received the necessary legal authority to allow a controlled gathering for the speech from the throne under strict adherence to COVID-19. He further reminds Eswatini that brewing and selling of Marula beer is strictly prohibited. Reporting, I'm Lungelile Makakula with Patuzam Sibi in Babane.
The acting Prime Minister Themba Masuku says the Ministry of Health is finalizing preparations to receive the COVID-19 vaccine, and government has procured building material for the construction of 60 houses that were damaged by Cyclone Eloise. Masuku said this at a press conference which was held at the Cabinet offices in Babane.
The acting Prime Minister Themba Masuku says government is forging ahead with plans to secure COVID-19 vaccines to protect all Eswatini from coronavirus. He says government has been consulting widely with scientists and has received positive results indicating that the AstraZeneca vaccine is effective in preventing severe illness and decreases mortality rates despite the advent of new variants of the virus.
The Ministry of Health is finalizing preparations for the rollout of several approved vaccines, starting with AstraZeneca vaccine. During the rollout, the ministry and its partners will also conduct an implementation strategy on the effectiveness of these vaccines.
The acting Prime Minister says government has started processes to assist those that were affected during the storm.
His Majesty's government, through NDMA and in partnership with UNDP, has completed a rapid assessment survey on the effects, damage and loss caused by the tropical cyclone. Heavy plant machinery has now been dispersed to all 4 regions to rehabilitate damaged road infrastructure. In addition, His Majesty's government has procured building material for rehabilitation and construction of 60 houses that were damaged by the storm across the country. NDMA, working with Umbutho Eswatini Defence Force and development partners, will hasten the construction of houses to meet the urgent needs of those citizens who lost their houses due to the storm.
Masuku applauds Eswatini who have helped the victims of these floods with all kinds of assistance in their time of need. He further warns all Eswatini to avoid crossing flooded rivers and bridges as heavy rains have continued to be recorded across the country. Reporting, I'm Lungelile Makakula with Patuzam Sibi in Babane.
All people who will attend this year's opening of Parliament are only permitted to wear surgical face masks or not cloth masks. This was said by House of Assembly Speaker Petros Mavimbela and Senate President Lindiwe Dlamini during a press briefing.
On Friday, their Majesties are expected to open the third session of the 11th Parliament. The official opening of Parliament is expected to be virtual. Senate President Lindiwe Dlamini says despite being tested for COVID-19,
wonke lo tako sitawucela ukuthi afake lama surgical mask lokusho ukuthi lama mask lesilafana nalawa lesiwafakile.
Attendants are strictly expected to put on surgical face masks. She says Friday is the day all Eswatini have been waiting for. She says all attendants should wear surgical face masks and keep respect, which Eswatini are well known for, especially after their Majesties have taken the stage. She added that the Senate chamber, gallery, canteen will be occupied by politicians in accordance with COVID-19 regulations. She went on to state that the media will follow proceedings from the conference rooms.
Labatawuta kulona msebenzi sitawucela ukuthi bagcine isikhathi ukuthi ngensimbi yelishumi babe sebahleli phasi.
House of Assembly Speaker Petros Mavimbela says the decrease in the number of people who will attend the ceremony is one of the measures taken by Parliament to curb the spread of COVID-19. He says all people who will attend the Parliament should keep time and keep in mind that they are attending a very important event. He says members of Parliament will park their motor vehicles near the National Church and thereafter they will be tested for COVID-19 before gaining entry to Parliament. He says preparations were at an advanced stage. All individuals who will attend the state opening of Parliament have to ensure that they are seated in their designated seats by 10 a.m. Some of Eswatini will be able to follow His Majesty King Mswati III's speech through the national broadcasters, which are Eswatini TV and EBIS. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Parliament.
The 2020 Junior Certificate Examination results indicate a decrease in performance when compared with the 2019 results. That's according to the Minister for Education, Lady Howard, who was speaking when officially announcing the 2020 JC results.
Having closed schools for the better part of 2020, government started reopening schools gradually on the 6th of July 2020. That was the first term. The second term was officially opened on the 24th of August. The third term was officially opened on the 27th of October 2020. The Minister for Education has been very busy of late announcing external examinations results. The Minister started by announcing them for 5 results, followed by the grade 7 results. And today, Minister announced the JC external examinations results for the class of 2020. The Minister does acknowledge that indeed students who sat for external examinations in 2020 had a torrid time.
Centers that registered candidates for the JC exam increased from 274 in 2019 to 284 in 2020. A total of 18,585 candidates sat for the JC examination in 2020, while there were 18,613 candidates in 2019. The 2020 candidature decreased by 28, that is 5.15% entries when compared with the 2019. A total number of 15,702 candidates passed in 2020, indicating a pass rate of 84.49%. This shows a decrease of 1.43% when compared with the 2019 pass rate, which was 85.92%. 2,883 candidates failed the examination in 2020 compared to 2,621 who failed in 2019. The 2020 Junior Certificate Examination results indicate a decrease in performance when compared with the 2019 results.
38 schools achieved a 100% pass rate in 2020 compared to 42 schools in 2019. For Eswatini TV News, I am Bulletin with Mbonga Dube in Babane.
The government of Taiwan has awarded scholarships worth $220,000, which is equivalent to 3.5 million emalangeni to Eswatini College of Technology students. The funds were received by the Minister of Education, Lady Howard, who urged the students to put in necessary efforts and not disappoint the ministry.
There were 3 students who shared the top position in the JC class of 2020. They attained an average of 97%. The minister then announced the creme de la creme of 2020 and the best performing schools.
The 3 top candidates attained an aggregate of 97%, and these are Dlamini Temahlubi Siposetu, Gap Boys High School, Masugu Tibusiso, Manzini Nazarene High School, Lukele Luyanda Prudence, St. Mark's High School. Other top candidates are as follows: Kwebu Messi, Nosizo, 96%, Gap Boys High School. Mabuza Titelo, Karin, 96%, St. Michael's High School. Matonsela Tandega, Sakile, 96, Ngomane High School. Dlamini Silindoguhle, Sanziswa, 96, St. Mark's High School. Msibi Nombuso, Spogazi, 95, St. Mark's High School. Njive, Nozizwe, Delphina, 95, Mbuluzi High School. Njalinjali Mpilwenhle, 95, St. Michael's High. Masilela Nomvuyo, 95, and Ndwandweni High. Candidates within each region attained the following pass rate: Hoho, 85.05%, Lubombo, 86.37%, Manzini, 83.29%, and Shiselweni, 83.72%. Male candidates outperformed female candidates in most regions, except Manzini.
Now that all external examination results have been released, students will flock different schools in the kingdom looking for admission. The minister implores head teachers to admit them regardless of their past categories. For Eswatini TV News, I'm LinkedIn Kule with Timbonga Dube in Babani.
May I apologize for the mishap back there. The report you've just seen was regarding the JC results, where 3 candidates obtained an aggregate of 97% in the 2020 Junior Certificate Examination. And this was announced by the Minister for Education, Lady Howard. And moving on with the news. The government of Taiwan has awarded scholarships worth $220,000, which is equivalent to 3.5 million emalangeni to Eswatini College of Technology students. The funds were received by the Minister of Education, Lady Howard, who urged the students to put in necessary efforts and not disappoint the ministry.
Last year, the government of Taiwan went into a partnership with the government of Eswatini to donate scholarships to 100 students of ACOT. Scholarships donated amounted to 9,240,000, which means the Taiwan government donates a total of 3.5 million per year for 3 years, which started from 2019 to 2021, to support a total of 100 needy students at the Eswatini College of Technology, who are under the Technical and Vocational Education and Training Enhancement Project. The scholarship is meant to open access towards training of female students in male-dominated programs. The government of Taiwan has made its second-year donation to the 100 students. The ambassador of Taiwan to Eswatini, Jeremy Liang, says this project is important because it equips the younger generations to help realize the national development strategy.
The program started began about 3 years ago when President Tsai, the President of the Republic of China, Taiwan, she visited this country on a state visit. And during that visit, we understand that the youth is the future of the country.
The minister, Lady Howard, says the ministry is excited with the support by the government of Taiwan because female participation in formal TVET is limited. Therefore, she urges the students to put in the necessary effort.
The government of the Kingdom of Eswatini has noted the importance of developing technical and vocational training skills. This is well articulated in the country's strategic roadmap 2019 to 2020 and the post-COVID recovery strategy. It is the ministry's task to be industry-driven as opposed to being supply-driven by ensuring that our TVET graduates are equipped with relevant, efficient, and effective skills for successful employability opportunities for individuals, increasing productivity and competitiveness of enterprises, thus reducing unemployment, poverty, and exclusion.
Reporting, I'm Lungilele Makakula with Muzim Konda in Mbabane.
The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilagati, has praised the bilateral relations between the Kingdom of Eswatini and UNDP in the development of the kingdom. The minister said this when receiving a sum of 9 million emalangeni from the United Nations Development Programme to strengthen waste management programs in the country. The virtual meeting was held at the Mountain Inn in Mbabane.
On the 14th of May 2020, the Ministry of Tourism and Environmental Affairs set up a committee to unlock climate change and environment finance available globally. This committee, comprising of 7 members, have been busy developing projects, briefs and proposals and applying for funding for Eswatini. The committee produced a number of proposals on a variety of themes, including tree planting, waste management, botanical gardens, study on COVID-19 impacts, livelihoods, enhancement, and others.
Leli bandla ke asilibonga kakhulu ngoba lisebenze ngokudikhandla laze lasitholela lena mali.
Speaking and receiving the sum of $6 million allocated by the United Nations Development Programme through the COVID-19 Rapid Financing Facility for the implementation of the Waste Management for Improved Livelihoods and Resilience initiative in Eswatini, Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs Moses Vilagati says this initiative is in line with the Kingdom of Eswatini's COVID-19 Economic Recovery Plan and is designed to address the impacts of COVID-19 through innovative low-carbon solutions to enhance green economic recovery. United Nations Development Programme Resident Representative Rose Padindira says it is therefore important to integrate entrepreneurship and climate change actions to better mitigate and adapt to multiple shocks as an important green recovery pathway from COVID-19.
This support obviously comes at a time when the country is currently witnessing the impact of Cyclone Eloise and the COVID-19 pandemic, which is not only slowing development progress, but also reversing gains made. It's therefore timely to have this funding that will facilitate the integration of entrepreneurship and climate change action to better mitigate and adapt to multiple shocks.
The minister then conveyed his profound appreciation to the committee for working tirelessly in the allocations of the funding. For Eswatini TV News, Zoto Antlamino Thumbongwa Dube, Mbabane.
The Elections and Boundaries Commission will hold civic education in chiefdoms waiting for elections. According to the EPC's Mbonisi Pembe, the meeting shall be held on Saturday, the 20th of February, in all respected chiefdoms.
Following the demise of members of Bukopo in 3 chiefdoms around the country, the Elections and Boundaries Commission will be conducting elections for the purposes of filling up the positions of the late members of Bukopo. The Elections and Boundaries Commission's Communications Officer, Mbonisi Pembe, says this exercise will be conducted by following the COVID-19 regulations. The chiefdoms include Mbolonjeni, Ezishineni, and Esitsatsaweni, all under Lukongolweni constituency.
Kusukela mhla ka-10 kuyo indlovana February kuyoze kufike kumhla ka-29 mhla ka-21 kuyo indlovana kuyawube kuhlolwa luhlu lokubhalisa nobe lwebantu lababhalisela kuvota.
Pembe stated that on the 27th of this month, there will be nominations of the members of Bukopo in the various chiefdoms, and on the 27th of March, the main elections will be held. Pembe has appealed to the members of the chiefdoms to bring their voter registration cards or their national identity cards to ensure that that particular person belongs to the constituency and is eligible to vote. For Eswatini TV News, Zoto Antlamini with Mbongwa Dube at Nkanini, Lobamba.
3 hours of Thursday, 2 trucks and an excavator were found burnt down at Helele area along the Manzini traffic circle in Mbabane, or rather at Mbadlane Highway. Manzini Police Station Desk Officer Mphathi Shabangu says investigations were underway.
Truck is bent severely as even its tires were bent down, while the other truck is extensively bent inside. The same applies to the excavator. Eswatini TV reporters established that security guards stationed at the crime scene only became aware of the fire around 3 a.m. on Thursday morning. While police investigations are still underway, there are unconfirmed reports suggesting that the truck, which is severely damaged, developed mechanical problems while parked and caught fire. The fire is said to have spread to the other truck and the excavator as they were nearby. Some reports further suggest that the truck bent down when criminals tried to steal diesel from them. Meanwhile, another report suggests that the trucks were intentionally bent by individuals. Mazin Police Station Desk Officer Mpati Shabangu says investigations are still underway.
Yeah, it is true. We got a report that there's 2 trucks and an excavator that was bent at the Then we came here at the scene of crime, but at the moment we don't have any leads of what really happened here. But we are still on our investigation to get the truth, what really happened. At the moment, as a police officer, I don't have those allegations, but mine is only that I'm getting statements that are saying what really transpired at night, but we don't have a lead at the moment.
Some of the workers found near the crime scene informed Eswatini TV that when the trucks were parked at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, they were in a good state. The construction of the Manzini Traffic Cycling Badlane Highway is expected to be completed by June this year. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Hele Hele.
Good evening once again. You're still watching Eswatini TV. Now we'll have a look at our sports news. The Vice President of the Football Association, Comfort Shongwe, says they will have to look at ways in which it won't happen again that football is suspended when pandemics like the COVID-19 break out. Shongwe was speaking when bidding farewell to Young Buffaloes, who are off to Tunisia for their second leg clash against Etoile du Sahel.
Young Buffaloes was defeated by Etoile du Sahel by 2-1 in the first leg of the CAF Confederations Cup that was played at the Mavuso Sports Center. The team's head coach, Sabelo Mnisi, lamented the lack of proper preparation games as their downfall, since they had no teams to play against because sports has been suspended in the country. Vice President of the Football Association, Comfort Shongwe, says they will have to look at ways in which to avoid this from happening again in the future.
Siyakubona vele lokho ukuthi kuyasikhinyabeda kakhulu uperforma kuba match fit.
Shongwe says Buffaloes lost the first game because they did not get enough practice games, hence they lack match fitness, and Etoile are still active on their games. He says they will now have to find ways in which they will prevent the suspension of sports again in the future in case a pandemic like this happen.
How do we raise ourselves? Kule situation lesibhekisene nayo and
Young Buffaloes have 10 players who tested positive of COVID-19 and 4 technical bench. The chief executive officer of the team, Sandy Lekwebo, says even though it's like that, they are going to fight.
We are going to Tunis. I believe in these boys. I know how capable they are. The club lena ingene ema team whereby when the odds abonakala ngathi akhiyekile unakhona sivangathi sidlala ngcono ke team. The thing is ukuthi i-COVID-19 is affected. We've got 10 of our regular players abangasi available lamuhla nasibashiyako, but we registered 25 players. Lokusho ukuthi we still have got enough to play this tournament and win it. So le match lena sihamba saphile silwe. Hopefully we can come back with positive results.
Fanelo Mamba says it's going to be hard, but they got to fight as they usually do. And he acknowledged that the team is missing some key players, but they have to go all out. The team is made out of the team is made out of 21 delegation, of which 13 are players. The game is scheduled to be played on Sunday afternoon. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports News, I am Patizwe Msibi. Mbabane.
That's all for now. Before we conclude, let's have a look at tonight's headlines. Government has extended the partial lockdown by a further 2 weeks. The 2020 junior certificate results indicate a decrease in performance when compared with the 2019 results. If you will not wear a surgical face mask, then don't dare to come to Parliament tomorrow. That brings us to the end of our bulletin for the evening. Up next is the weather update. From myself and the crew here at Eswatini TV, thank you for watching. Good night.